Welcome back to the Go Homemade channel. In today's video, join us as we follow a remarkable man on his journey to create a unique home entirely from logs and materials he collected deep in the woods. See how he transforms the simple, raw elements of nature into a beautiful and functional living space. With a determined look on his face, he grips the axe tightly in his hands, ready to begin the demanding task of felling trees. His eyes scan the forest, carefully selecting the largest and sturdiest trees that will provide the strength and durability needed for the construction of his home. As the axe swings down with precision, the sound of the sharp blade cutting through the bark echoes through the woods. With each strike, the trees begin to bend, and soon they topple to the forest floor. He methodically removes branches and prepares the logs, ensuring that each piece is perfect for his project. These strong, natural materials will serve as the foundation of his self-built home, each log a vital part of the sturdy structure he is about to create. He carefully drags the heavy logs back to the construction site, using all his strength and skill to maneuver the massive pieces of wood into place. With each log, he navigates through the forest, ensuring they are positioned exactly where he needs them. He begins by carefully arranging the logs into a perfect square frame, each log positioned with precision to create a strong base. With an expert hand, he measures and carves precise notches along the edges of each log. These notches are designed to allow the logs to interlock seamlessly, ensuring a tight fit without any gaps. He meticulously fine-tuned the joints of each log, ensuring that the notches and joints were smooth and precise. This careful finishing ensured that the logs fit together perfectly, creating a seamless and sturdy bond. However, as the structure took shape, it became clear that more logs were needed to complete the 4 walls. He went back into the woods to gather more wood. He begins the labor-intensive process of stacking the logs for the walls. He alternates the direction of each log as he adds layer upon layer, creating a unique interlocking pattern. Each log is carefully placed, with the notch joints sliding into place to form a perfect connection. As he works, the 4 walls begin to rise, one log at a time. Each layer of logs locks into the previous one, strengthening the structure and ensuring that the walls remain firmly in place. The alternating pattern not only provides added stability, but also helps to create a tightly sealed surface, making the walls airtight and weather-resistant. With each new layer, the walls get taller and the frame gets stronger, transforming into a beautifully crafted interlocking structure. The whole process is slow and deliberate, as he continually creates joints where the timbers intersect. Once the walls were at the desired height, he picked up the saw and began cutting through the logs to create a space for the door. The sound of the saw cutting through the thick wood echoed in the silence of the forest. He worked slowly and carefully, making sure each cut was precise. With the door open, he moved on to the next step, building the roof. He carefully selected strong, durable beams and laid them horizontally across the top of the door and on the opposite side of the frame. Using a saw, he began cutting the beams at an angle, creating a sharp triangle at the top. The angle cuts formed distinctive slopes that would shape the roof. After completing the roof structure, he turned his attention to adding the roofing material. He used corrugated iron sheets, choosing durable ones that would provide protection and stability. With the help of a few tools, he began placing the sheets over the wooden frame of the roof. He continued working, covering the entire roof until it was completely covered, with each metal panel firmly fixed in place, creating a solid waterproof covering for the house. After completing the roof, he turned his attention to adding a window to the side of the house. Using a saw, he carefully cut a small, precise hole into the side of the wall. He took a previously prepared window pane and carefully fitted it into the hole. He decides it's time to take a well-deserved break. He gathers some firewood and starts a small fire outside the house. As the flames begin to flicker, he prepares a simple meal, cooking over the open fire with the tools he has on hand. He needed to rest for a while before getting back to work. After his break, he returned to his work, focusing on the main door of the house. He gathered some wooden planks, carefully selecting the ones that were sturdy and of the right size. After he measured the dimensions, he began cutting the planks with a saw, making precise cuts to form the door frame. He carefully placed the first beam at the top of the door frame, aligning it precisely to ensure it was straight and level. Holding it in place, he hammered nails into the wood, anchoring the beam tightly to the surrounding timbers. Each hammer blow was deliberate, ensuring the beam was firmly anchored and would not move under pressure. He moved on to fixing 2 vertical beams on either side of the door. He carefully sawed sturdy wooden planks to the height of the door frame and laid them vertically along the edges of the doorway. Holding the first beam in place, he ensures it is perfectly aligned with the top beam, checking that it stands straight and flush against the wall. With precision, he drives nails deep into the wood, anchoring it securely to the surrounding structure. He then repeats the process with the second vertical beam on the opposite side, taking the same care to align and secure it. Together, the 2 side beams and the top beam form a solid frame, creating a durable and well-balanced structure that will support the weight of the door and withstand frequent use. He moves on to the bottom beam of the door frame. Measuring it carefully, he ensures it fits perfectly between the 2 vertical beams. Once the dimensions are confirmed, he places the beam at the base of the opening, aligning it precisely with the other components of the frame. With deliberate strikes, he drives nails into the beam, securing it firmly to the vertical sides. He ventures into the forest once again, this time gathering smaller logs to bring back to the construction site. These logs, while more manageable in size, are just as essential for the next phase of his project. Carrying them one by one, he carefully stacks them near his workspace, ready to begin the next task. With his tools in hand, he positions the first log securely and starts splitting it lengthwise. Using a sharp axe or wedge, he carefully drives it into the center of the log, applying steady force to create a clean split. The wood gradually yields under his skilled movements, separating into 2 even halves. Each piece is examined to ensure it's smooth and suitable for his needs. He repeats this process with the other logs, methodically splitting them one by one. Having gathered enough wood, he began to craft the door for his house. First, he laid the split logs flat on the ground, lining them up side by side with the rounded side facing up. He made sure that each piece of wood fit snugly together, leaving no gaps, creating a solid, seamless surface for the door. He made sturdy cross beams to hold the vertical boards together. Carefully measuring their lengths to span the width of the door, he laid the cross beams across the arranged logs. He temporarily placed the unfinished door on the frame and continued adding wooden slats to the surface. Each slat was aligned perfectly with the existing slats on the door. Each slat was placed snugly against the other, ensuring that there were no gaps or gaps left behind. Once the additional wood slats were properly positioned, he nailed them securely to the bottom crossbar, reinforcing the overall structure of the door. Each nail was carefully hammered in, ensuring that the new slats were securely fastened and would not shift over time. With each new slat added, the the door became increasingly stronger and more complete. The seamless joining of the wood created a solid, continuous surface, providing complete coverage and increasing the durability of the door. To further strengthen the door, he adds a diagonal wooden beam across its surface. Measuring carefully, he cuts the beam to the correct length so it fits perfectly from one corner of the door to the opposite corner. Placing it firmly against the planks, he secures it with nails, ensuring it provides additional support and prevents the door from warping over time. Next, he prepares to mount the door onto the frame. Using a drill, he carefully bores holes through the edges of the door and into the frame at specific points, ensuring that the alignment is precise. He crafts sturdy wooden pegs to act as pivots and inserts them into the holes, creating a secure yet functional connection. Once the door is fixed into place, he tests it by gently swinging it back and forth, making adjustments if necessary. The door now hangs perfectly within the frame, moving smoothly and fitting snugly. It's not only solid and secure, but also a testament to the craftsmanship and care he's put into building his home. The next morning, the outside world was covered in a thick layer of pure white snow. The air was cold and clear and quiet, with only the faint rustling of the treetops breaking the silence. To dispel the morning chill and energizing for the work ahead, he brewed a fresh cup of coffee. The pleasant aroma filled the air, blending with the cold, fresh scent of the snowy morning. He decided to make a wooden latch for the door, a simple but necessary detail to complete the entrance. With precision, he drilled a small hole into the doorframe and attached a wooden dowel to the latch. After completing the door, he focuses on sealing the gaps in the walls. He gathers clumps of earth rich with patches of vibrant green moss, which he has carefully collected from the forest floor. The natural earth and moss will serve as a perfect, organic material to fill the small cracks and gaps between the wooden logs of the walls. With great care, he begins to press the moss-filled clumps into each gap, working methodically from one crack to the next. He pushes the moss deep into the spaces, ensuring that it fits snugly and tightly, creating an airtight seal. The earthy mixture blends seamlessly with the wood, providing an extra layer of insulation and helping to make the walls more weatherproof. From the inside to the outside of the house, no gap escapes his keen eye. He inspects every corner of the walls, carefully scrutinizing each crack and crevice between the logs. His attention to detail is unwavering as he presses more moss and earth into the tiniest openings, ensuring a perfect seal. With each gap he fills, the house becomes more fortified. The moss and earth blend seamlessly with the wood, offering natural insulation against the cold and creating a strong weather-resistant barrier. Whether the gap is large or small, his meticulous work ensures that every space is closed off, leaving the walls airtight and secure. As he steps back to assess his progress, the house stands sturdy and well sealed, with the natural materials enhancing both its beauty and its durability. Next, he turns his attention to the floor. He carefully measures the area of the house where the floor will be laid, cutting the wooden planks to fit the exact dimensions. Using his saw, he slices each plank with precision, making sure they will fit together snugly to form a solid, continuous surface. Once the planks are cut, he starts laying them out on the ground, ensuring they are properly aligned. He begins at one end of the room and works his way across, placing each plank side by side. With each new piece, he checks the fit, making sure there are no gaps between the planks. To secure the boards in place, he used nails, carefully hammering them into the wood to hold the boards together. The rhythmic sound of the hammer echoed as he worked, his concentration never wavering. Each board was firmly attached, creating a stable and smooth surface for the floor. As the last piece is fixed into place, the floor is complete. The wooden planks blend perfectly with the walls, adding warmth and natural beauty to the space. The house is now a fully functional living space, with a strong foundation beneath his feet. At this point, his home is finally complete. After all the hard work, attention to detail, and determination, the result is a space in perfect harmony with nature, built with his own hands and ready to provide comfort and shelter. Thank you all for joining him on this journey. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe so you won't miss the next one. Goodbye and see you soon.